Laser sights are an essential firearms training tool, clearly correcting and improving the two most important shooting fundamentals, aiming and trigger control. Crimson Trace, making laser sights standard equipment. Learn more at crimsontrace.com.
#1 national voice in defense of your Second Amendment rights. Gun Talk, available on iTunes and on the free Gun Dealio smartphone app for Android and iPhone. To be on the air with Tom, call us now, 866-825-5486 or 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom.
Well, let's just keep doing this. We're having so much fun. I'm Tom Gresham. It is Gun Talk, and we really do talk about pretty much anything that has to do with guns. It's interesting. I'll sometimes get people who say, I really don't care about the politics. I wish you'd talk more about guns. Okay. And then we get people who say, I really wish you'd talk about politics more. Okay. So we try to hit it somewhere in the middle, and I guess if we're offending an equal number of people, we're probably right where we need to be. So there we go. So we're going to be talking about technical stuff, gunny stuff, as well as politics during this hour. If you'd like to be a part of that, it's quite simple. Just give us a holler right here on the air, 866-TALK-GUN, or just dial Tom Talk Gun. We are joined again by our good friend, Alan Gottlieb from the Second Amendment Foundation. Alan, one of the things you were talking about that we really need to talk about, because it's hot and it's happening right now, is what's going on in Deerfield, Illinois. What's happening there?
Well, Deerfield is the suburb of Chicago that went and banned assault rifles, large capacity magazines, and didn't just ban them. Basically, it's confiscation. You have to turn them in.
You have to turn them in. That's a form of confiscation, isn't it?
Yeah, I would think so, especially when it's a $1,000 a day fine for every day you don't turn them in.
Okay.
You're really at immediate jeopardy, and that law is about ready to kick into effect. We filed suit against it. We were supposed to have had a hearing on Friday with the judge for him to make a ruling on our preliminary injunction motion so that it couldn't go into effect.
Okay, so the preliminary injunction is to basically say stop enforcing it while we discuss it and work this out, but don't go start arresting or finding people on this.
Correct. And to get that injunction, you have to prove a couple of points.
Okay.
One, you have to prove there's a decent likelihood that you're going to win the case. And two, you have to show that people are in immediate jeopardy.
Okay.
That things would happen to them that couldn't be reversed.
Right.
Like a gun being confiscated or you being fined.
Mm-hmm.
He moved it to Tuesday. So on Tuesday, we're going to have a big hearing in Deerfield, Illinois case to see, in fact, if we can get that preliminary injunction.
Do we have a feeling at this point, one way or the other?
Well, in reading our attorney David Siegel's briefs on that.
David's a pretty sharp guy.
Yeah, and the city's responses to it, if I were the judge, of course, it'd be no-brainer, because even if you can't say for sure that we should win the case ultimately, mm-hmm. which I believe we can, the problem is that people are definitely being hurt by the law while it's
they're being put in immediate jeopardy with this thing.
Right, and that's the key thing why you should win these kind of motions. So I don't see how a judge could say these people aren't in immediate harm's way. And as a result, I think we're going to win it. I will be shocked if we don't. We've had a pretty good track record in Illinois and on our lawsuits,
right.
And I think we're going to win this one.
A lot of the action now is not as much, in my opinion, my impression is that a lot of the action is not so much on the federal legislative level, but as the states and cities and the things that they're doing there. Does that seem like a fair assessment?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the gun prohibition movement in this country knows right now they can't get things through Congress. And if they did, President Trump isn't going to sign it.
Right.
So they've moved to the battlefield of the states and localities and cities, which is kind of funny because, they always claim, hey, it doesn't work unless you do it nationally.
Right.
But they don't really care. They'll try and get it any way they can.
Sure.
And so now they've moved it to the states and cities. So we're fighting, hundreds of battles all across the country at one time rather than fighting one battle in Congress, which is tough for us right now with the amount of money the other side has that they can pour into this, with $1 million checks being written against us.
Right.
And battles all over the playing field. A lot of people don't realize this, Tom, but the anti-gun groups now have more staff members and employees out in the field across America than all the gun rights groups put together have.
It's funny you mention that because I was talking about that recently. I was testifying in the Louisiana legislature, and one of the things I do is I get on the mailing list of Everytown and mothers demand action and all that. So I get all their emails, and then I get on their conference calls, and I listen to what they're doing because I'm a member. How else are you going to know what they're up to? They have 2, 3, maybe 6 people on the ground in each state. The NRA, for instance, might have a rep who covers 4 states altogether. So, we are being outspent and we're being outstaffed at this point. Is that a fair assessment?
It's definitely a fair assessment, and we're in a playing field that we've never been in before because of that, and then also all the demonization by, again, like we talked earlier,
right.
Banks, credit card companies, the internet companies, Google, Facebook, everybody. We're being stores, supermarkets taking gun magazines off the shelves.
Right.
It's to the point that what we're up against now is something we've never seen before.
Okay, but I'm going to transition because I have to let you tell the story. We're up in Idaho. Yesterday we go into McCall, Idaho. We go to a grocery store just to pick up some stuff, and we get separated, and you're out there doing something, and we all get together, heading back out to the store, and you were smiling like a kid at Christmas time. Tell them what about this grocery store that made you so happy.
Man, it's now my favorite grocery store in the whole world. This isn't a little grocery store.
No, it's a supermarket.
This is a supermarket. This is a big place,
right?
Okay, that has like everything.
They have sushi. They have everything there, right?
And they also have this great sporting goods section, all kinds of guns and ammunition.
I mean, we're talking about probably 3 to 5 dozen different handguns in the case.
Yeah.
Lots of long guns up there. Ammunition is part of the supermarket. It's upscale, very modern-looking supermarket.
Oh, my God. It was so super. It's my favorite supermarket in the world. I mean,
for those who don't want to find out, it's Ridley's, and it's in McCall, Idaho, and it's a really great store. We really like going to Ridley's.
I mean, it was like, wow. I mean, but I was smiling and chuckling, I think, when you saw me, because all I could think about is some tourists coming here to Idaho to be in the wild, going to pick up some grocery supplies, seeing all those guns and ammunition and freaking out.
That's the part that really made you laugh.
It really made me laugh.
All right, hold on here, David. Tell you what, don't go anywhere. David, who's on hold, Roger, Wiley, don't you go anywhere. We're going to get to you as soon as we come back. 866-TALK-GUN is our number here. We'll be right back with more Gun Talk.
Founded with the singular purpose of building fine sporting firearms, Kimber creates a handgun for every person and a rifle for every adventure. While embracing modern manufacturing techniques, every Kimber depends on practiced hands for assembly, fit, and finish. There's no compromise in features, materials, or performance. Synonymous with quality, precision, and excellence, and made in America. Kimber is what all guns should be. Visit KimberAmerica.com. That's KimberAmerica.com.
If you're like me, you don't have money to burn, but you still want to buy guns, ammo, and accessories. That's why we created Gun Dealio. That's a free smartphone app. Just download it and start getting the deals. Could be discounts, offers of free magazines for your gun, or you could be the first to hear about new stuff from gun makers. Here's how it works. With Gun Dealio on your phone, you get alerts when you enter a gun store. Special deals, you know. You don't have to do a thing. It'll do a lot of other cool things, like let you watch gun videos and listen to Gun Talk podcast. Plus, check it anytime for hundreds of deals and offers. Getting more while spending less. Smart, huh? Gun Dealio. Made in America. Gluten-free. At the App Store and Google Play or GunDealio.com.
I spy a black pickup truck. Oh, come on. How about something a little easier? Okay. I spy error-free forms, fast ATF processing, a 90-day money-back guarantee, and the largest inventory in the industry. I spy Powered By. That's right. With over 300 Powered By Silencer Shop retailers nationwide, there's always one close by. Is that easy enough for you? Ha! Almost too easy.
Demand Powered By. Shop our industry-leading inventory at silencershop.com.
Man, I love being home, but I love being away. So kind of like both things. I'm up. We're going around the Pacific Northwest right now. We're in Idaho. But when I'm away, I like to be able to keep in touch with what's going on back home. One of the things I do is we've got our Blink cameras set up. You've heard me talk about it before. I actually would not allow them on the show here until I said, hey, send me some of these cameras. I'll try them out. If they work, if they're good, then we can talk. But otherwise, no. So they sent me 3 of their cameras. Like I said, took about 5 minutes to hook them up and work through the internet. It's there's no subscription required. There's no monthly service required. It just works. And so when something happens there, I get a notification. They got motion detection built in. I can watch the video. I can find out what's going on. I get notified if somebody should happen to break in, or even if somebody just leaves a package by the front door. I know what is happening. I don't feel divorced anywhere. I can also check with my cell phone, smartphone, anywhere I am with this. It's a cool system, and it really does work well. Also, one of the things they're doing is they are really discounting their cameras. They sell, I think it's one of them for or 3 of them rather, for what one you get from the other guys. It's a heck of a deal. But if you want to get another 15% off, it's really easy. You go to blinkprotect.com/guntalk. You get the extra 15% off. Again, blinkprotect.com/guntalk will get you in there. All right, going to line 4 right now. David's with us out of Central Point, Oregon. Hey, David, you're on Gun Talk. Keep talking, David. We're going to pull you in there. Talk a little more.
So you had on earlier a guest about Google and Google Ads.
Yeah, I tell you what, your cell phone is breaking up so much, David, I cannot understand. I'm going to put you back on hold. See if you can find a better place where to come back to you in just a minute. Don't hang up, but just try to find a better place for you to hang out, or grab onto 16 different coat hangers and hold on to those. You'll get a better antenna. Let's go to line 3. Roger's with us out of L.A. Hey, Roger, you're on Gun Talk.
Yes. Afternoon, Tom. Actually, I'm from Louisiana.
Thank you.
Actually, I'm from Louisiana.
Okay, good deal.
I had a question about insurance. I have tried to get insurance for my gun collection, and through my homeowners, and I'm looking at other homeowners' insurance with different companies, and it is outrageous. I have a pretty extensive collection. I've got some Class 3s, and I was wondering if you had any recommendations for insurance.
Well, I know that the NRA offers gun insurance, and it's pretty darn expensive. Have you looked into that?
Do you say pretty darn expensive or pretty?
No. I say it's inexpensive. So it's cheap. Yeah. So I mean, it's a really good deal, and you get a certain level of insurance when you become an NRA member, but you could add on to it.
Well, I'm a life member.
Okay.
I'm a life member.
Check into it, because the other thing is, and I know this to be true, you don't even have to list the individual guns on that policy there. You just say, I want whatever it is, $100,000 and all. Now, it would be a really good idea for you to have good records of those guns somewhere. So that you can establish.
I've got pictures. I've got pictures and serial numbers. So.
Seriously, I would look there first, but I'm actually a little bit surprised. Most of the homeowners insurance policies I've seen, you can add a rider on to your policy, and it's not really that expensive. Alan, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, everything you said is true, but we're now running this case where a lot of homeowners insurance policies who won't add the riders on for guns.
Oh, really?
And that's part of the demonization of guns going on.
Okay.
My other suggestion is, I think it's called collectibles insurance, and it might be in collectibleinsurances.com.
Okay.
They do things for people who collect things, and the insurance isn't too bad. And usually, if you're a member of some type of organization that deals with what that hobby might be, they tend to then give you pretty decent rates, because they figure that you don't want to be blackballed by your own associations or have a bad reputation with organizations you belong to. And as a result, they tend to give you better rates.
That's a good idea. I just looked them up. It's collectinsure.com is the website. So collectinsure.com for collectibles insurance services. It says provide toys, comics, stamps, sports cars, memorabilia, guns, knives, and more.
Yeah, I personally use them for some of my insurance.
Okay. Collectibles insurance services. Collectinsure.com. Try that out and see if that doesn't work. But in the meantime, definitely see if the NRA will help you out with that, because they do have that policy as well. So that works both ways for you. Look, I appreciate the call. It's one of those questions that we get. Alan, I was not aware that some of the insurance companies are cutting back and not writing the riders now on guns.
Yeah, we're being demonized. And again, this is the other side working, well, a good example, you've got some of the anti-gun groups that have been sending out, letters to insurance companies and credit card companies and banks, and they're behind a lot of these companies in doing this because they're getting pressured by the other side very quietly. And it's really hard for us to find out, who's being pressured and whatever. But I've been able to get some of the letters that have been sent to some of these insurance companies, and then see the insurance companies reacting, trying to make the anti-gun groups happy.
Right. Okay, good deal. All right, let's go run back to David. I think he's found a better connection there on line 4 out of Central Point, Oregon. Hey, David, you back?
Yes, I would like to thank KMED Radio and Bill Myers for having your show on. It's a wonderful thing, and by the way, I like the way you run it. Talking about guns is one of my favorite things, and talking politics about guns is one of my favorite things.
Well, us too. That works out well.
Yes. So President Trump and me and him have something in common. We both have the same birthday. So I want to wish President Trump a happy birthday. And so there I go. I wrote him, he's my pen pal, I wrote him a letter just a little while ago on Google saying that they should treat Google like they treated Standard Oil or like they treated the phone company and break them up. If they got 90% of the search market, well, then that's a target for a breakup, and all he's got to do is stick Jeff Sessions on him.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe, I don't know if it's an FTC thing, if it is, Alan, you were talking about regulating them as a utility is another way to possibly to go.
Yeah, and you might be able to regulate them through the Federal Communications Commission as well.
Ooh, FCC.
So I mean, there are a number of ways legislation can be written to accomplish this, to make sure that it's a level, fair playing field for gun owners. Yeah,
I think it may be that one of the first things that happens is you have a full-scale, no-kidding congressional hearing on this to call attention to it and to get the word out of what's actually happening. And you have a bunch of the gun companies come in and say, this is what they're doing to us, and this is the restraining trade, and this is the whole deal. And then call up, look, if you're 80% or 90% of the marketplace, then you start to reach the point of being a utility.
Yeah, and it goes beyond just the ad sales, too. You have the problem on the search where, something happens and people search for a story, and the only stories that pop up first are all the ones that are anti-gun.
Well,
nothing that supports gun rights.
I predicted that 15 years ago. I said Google will eventually change their algorithms. So if you search for gun safety, you're not getting teaching gun safety classes. What you're getting is anti-gun groups.
Exactly.
That they're tweaked it that way. And so the public comes away, people say, well, what's the big deal? It changes how the public thinks about an issue, doesn't it?
It does. Let me give you an example. Facebook is an example. Okay. On their algorithms, they have changed them and to skew against gun ownership and guns. A lot of people don't realize this, but you have friends on Facebook, right? And you figure you post something and your friends see it. That's not the way it works. Only a small fraction of your friends get to see it.
Yeah, maybe 6%, maybe 10%.
Or maybe if you're a pro-gun rights group, only 2% of your million quote unquote people who support you get to see it.
And then they say, if you want all of them to see it, then you can boost your post. That means you can pay to see it. And then they come back and say, oh yeah, but you're a gun outfit. You don't get to boost your post.
Exactly, and that's what we're facing at the Second Amendment Foundation.
Really? Yeah, I mean, of course, we've heard that over and over. So I want to make sure people understand. If and there are, for instance, gun stores who don't really understand what's going on. If you're a gun store, and say you got 5,000 people have liked your page on Facebook, right? And you think, I'll post something here. I'll just put it up on Facebook and they'll all see it. Well, no, maybe 10%, maybe 5% see it. And it was interesting. There was a conversation some years ago I heard about where Facebook was meeting with Coca-Cola. And Coca-Cola had 60 million followers on Facebook. And Coke says, so you're telling us for us to reach our own people. And said, Facebook stopped and says, oh, no. You misunderstand. Those aren't your people. They're our people. We let you use them. But those are our people. They're not yours. And that's the viewpoint there. And so they simply can, and now they do, shut off access. So you're just blithely posting away, thinking all your people are seeing it. And it even gets worse than that. They now do shadow blocking, where you don't know, but they have cut off access to all of the people who have liked you. You're seeing their post on your deal, but when you post something, they don't see any of it.
Exactly. And we've discovered that at the Second Man Foundation with a lot of our news releases and stories that we post that we need to reach our people with. And lo and behold, Facebook controls how many of our people or if any of them get to see what we post.
Right.
And a lot of smaller gun groups, Tom, have gone away from having their own web page, and they use Facebook as their web page.
Not knowing, and
they can't even communicate to their members.
And they think, well, we put this out. Why didn't we get any response? It's because none of them saw it.
Exactly.
And it's like throwing a message in a bottle, and it just goes out there, but nobody ever picks it up. Did you actually communicate at all? And it's sneaky because you don't know that your message is not being seen. It's a way of them, I guess we keep circling right back to the same thing, of essentially making you a non-entity.
Yeah, controlling the message.
Yeah. And it's controlling the message by blocking the message, but they block it without you even knowing that it's been blocked. And that's something that would not have been possible technologically 10, 15 years ago. And now it's a 24-year-old millennial who doesn't like guns can click one box on an administrative package there somewhere, and you're shut off.
Yeah, my fear is it's more than just one millennial, 24-year-old millennial clicking a box. It's policy. It's policy by the coming from the top down.
It absolutely is policy. We know that.
And this is really, really very, very dangerous for us. You don't win public opinion debates, or when you can't get your message out.
If only one side is being heard. You don't, and you're not that side. You don't have a chance.
You don't have a chance.
You just don't. So if you are a gun store, pay attention. If you have a Facebook page, there's an excellent chance that very, very few of the people following you or who've liked you on Facebook are actually seeing your posts, right?
That's definitely correct.
Yep, and we run into that, and they say, well, you could boost your post. And then we've tried the same deal, and we work with a lot of companies. And they say, well, we tried to boost our post, and then they blocked our boost after they told us to boost it. And go, yeah, well, you talk to two different groups. You got the salespeople, and then you got the ones who say, oh, no, I'm sorry. We didn't realize that this gun store sells guns.
Right.
What? Hold on a second here. We're talking with Alan Gottlieb, but we certainly have time and room for you if you'd like to join us. Our number is 866-TALK-GUN, or easier, just dial Tom Talk Gun. Talking about politics, but we'll also talk about your favorite gun. 38 Special, 357, maybe a 327. And yes, Michelle is back.
Sign up for our Gun Talk newsletter and join the Truth Squad at www.guntalk.com. Now, back to Gun Talk with Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
All right, back with you. 866-TALK-GUN gets you in here. Lots of things for us to talk about. Your guns, the ones you want to buy, the ones you've already purchased. Here's a question for you. Have you ever given away a gun? You've given a gun to somebody as a gift. Used to be simple. Alan, now it's actually getting a little more complicated depending on what state you're in, isn't it?
Oh, it sure has. You were talking about lending a gun to somebody so this kid could take it to go hunting in one of your earlier segments. I was thinking, if you was in my state of Washington now, that would be illegal. You couldn't do that. You'd go to jail.
You'd go to jail for doing that. You can't just loan somebody a gun. You got to go through a dealer and do a transfer and do a background check.
Pay the fee when you do it, and pay the fee again to get your own gun back.
When your gun comes back. That's what, for those who are confused or don't know, that's what the so-called comprehensive or enhanced background check does, is it forces you to do a background check even when you loan a gun to someone, and then when they take it back to you, that's another transfer, right?
Correct.
So and depending on where you go, a dealer may charge you as much as $50 to do the background to process it.
Some states have limits what the dealer can charge.
Right.
And some states don't.
And that is being attempted in a great many states. I guess one of the things that I assume people know, but maybe they don't, is that when they hear us talking about a law like that, that law, that bill was written by the gun ban lobby. And then they go in and find a legislator and get that person to introduce it. But they're not just doing that in Washington State or in Oregon State. They're doing that in every state possible, even states where they think there's no chance. because they say, we'll get it introduced and we'll keep trying it, and maybe in 5 years we'll get there. But the gun ban groups, the Bloomberg billion, and there are others besides just Bloomberg now. There are other billionaires that are pouring money into it. They're paying to put these, like you're talking about, these armies, these troops on the ground, and they're really working it hard.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and talking about these billionaires, I mean, in Washington State, we have an initiative that was just filed, that we filed suit against the challenging the ballot title to help slow it down a bit, and they just got it approved, so they have 3 weeks to go out and get their signatures, which is very difficult to do unless you have people like Paul Allen, former Microsoft, billionaire, owner of the Portland Trailblazers and Seattle Seahawks.
What's he doing?
He wrote him a $1 million check.
To put this issue on the...
To buy signatures.
Just to buy signatures.
To put it on
How
the
does
ballot.
that work when they buy signatures?
Well, right now in Washington State on this particular initiative, because they only have 3 weeks, they're paying top dollar. Okay. So they're paying the signature gathering firms $9 a signature, of which, of the $9, $5 goes automatically to the signature gatherer person out there who...
The person who's on the street who's getting the signatures.
But they're guaranteed a $2 bonus if they qualify. So the signature gatherer would get $7, and the gathering company who oversees them would get $2 a signature. So they're going to spend $3 million to buy it onto the ballot. My hope is they spend $2.5 million and fall just short because they only have 3 weeks. And so we're doing everything we can. Quite frankly, we're putting people out on the street to stand next to the signature gatherers to explain to people why they shouldn't sign it and how bad this initiative really is.
In states that have referendums like this, if you're not in a state like this, you may not understand, but they could put an issue on the ballot and then it becomes law just on the basis of, honestly, who buys the most advertising.
Yeah, and
it really is almost a matter of that.
Right, and in some states like Washington, the legislature, no matter how flawed it is or unworkable the measure might be, are not legally allowed to change it for at least 2 years.
So it can be the goofiest, looniest thing in the world. It gets passed because the Paul Allens of the world go out and buy $1 million or $5 million worth of advertising, and they do.
Yeah.
And then, because you can sell anybody anything if you can buy enough advertising, and particularly if you lie about it, like they did on the background check deal. They were very misleading ads, and it's like, and they kept saying, no, you're not going to have to do a background check if you just loan a gun to somebody. And then when they passed, they went, well, we may have been mistaken about that. Of course you will.
Yeah. So in Washington, it's called Initiative 369. We set up a website called declinetosign369.com. It gives people the tools to know what it does, and also lets them know where people are gathering signatures. So if they're at your local Walmart's parking lot,
right?
You can jump in your car, print the stuff off the internet.
So you can go hand it out to people as well.
As well, standing next to the signature gather, say, don't sign this thing, decline to sign 369, and give them the reasons why they shouldn't sign it.
Okay, so the website is declinetosign369.com. Okay, excellent. That's the kind of stuff that you do that is just so clever. And, sometimes when you just don't have the kind of money that they have, you just got to work smarter.
You got to work smarter and work harder. And
work harder.
Yeah.
And bring out the troops. We have a ton of people who are very much pro-Second Amendment, pro-Constitution, pro-rights, pro-liberty, but it's not enough just to be pro. You got to show up. You got to do stuff.
You got to show, especially now, because the other side is, look after Parkland for their rallies around the country. They'd get Delta Airlines to provide free airplanes. They'd have, fat cats, writing checks to rent buses. We don't have that. So while we have a lot of grassroots people, it's harder for us to mobilize them and deliver them to where they need to be. So, gun owners out there got to get more engaged.
We can win, but only if we get up and show up.
Yeah, let me give a sign, though. Things I think are looking kind of positive for us right now.
Okay.
As an example, keepandbeararms.com, one of the Second Amendment Foundation's websites. It has new stuff on it every day, gun news links. Our traffic to that in the last 3-4 months has been more than double. The amount of internet transactions that we're getting from people joining as members is at record highs. Gun owners are getting engaged. And so I'm kind of excited because I think come the midterm elections, I think we might see some surprises where we pull off some key victories to defend gun rights.
I think you're exactly right. And one of the things, funny you mentioned keepandbeararms.com. This morning I was telling somebody about it, and I said, what it is it's the Drudge Report for guns. It is an aggregator site. It links to news stories so you know what's going on. And every day you can go find out what's new, what's going on, and stay really plugged in.
Yeah, and it's not just politics either. So,
no.
So a lot of times it's anything to do with guns and firearms. So you can find some funny
stories,
good stories of things going on, or good new products that are coming out.
Exactly right. Hold on, Alan. Take a quick break here. Our number is 866-TALK-GUN. If you'd like to be part of this, give us a holler. Again, 866-TALK-GUN.
Face it, sometimes more is better. That's the idea behind the double-stack, full-capacity pistols from Springfield Armory. From the groundbreaking XD to the ergonomic XDM to the latest refinements in the XD Mod 2 series, you can get subcompact, midsize, and full-size pistols in 9, 40, and 45. Carry, target, or tactical models. Fast, accurate, dependable. Don't come up short when it matters. Go full cap. Go Springfield Armory. Springfield-Armory.com.
Tactical professionals who put their lives on the line every day depend on Surefire. Since 1979, Surefire has designed, machined, and assembled the finest flashlights and weapon-mounted lights right here in the U.S. From everyday carry flashlights with 1,200 lumens and mil-spec hard anodized finishes to the most reliable weapon lights on the market for duty use or your home defense firearm. Surefire has what you need. American built, American strong. Visit surefire.com.
This land, once wild and free, fades now from our memory. But I remember what it was like, what we were like, what we are capable of when we band together. Perhaps more than any other landscape, wetlands embody the life-giving abundance that nature has to offer. And perhaps more than any other organization, Ducks Unlimited is working to ensure that our continent's wetlands not only survive, but thrive for generations well beyond this one. These natural wonders are where waterfowl begin their cycle of life, where the deer and the antelope play, and where we, the people, gather together to see and share what makes the outdoors so great. The time is now to band together with organizations like Ducks Unlimited. The time is now to rescue our wetlands.
Trust in Scepter ARX, preferred defense for your self-defense ammunition. It features patented technology and an advanced lead-free polymer copper material for unprecedented terminal performance. Its non-hollow point round nose design means it feeds flawlessly and won't plug or fail to transfer energy on impact. Lightweight projectiles reduce weight in your carry gun and add velocity to all loads and calibers. Inceptor ARX is available in all popular handgun calibers. Learn more at InceptorAmmo.com.
All right, back with you. News out of my home state, Louisiana. Governor John Bel Edwards signed into law a new bill that will make it easier for people to carry concealed guns into churches, mosques, synagogues, and other places of worship. It said the provision overwhelmingly passed the Louisiana legislature. Present law requires people who are going to take a concealed weapon into a place of worship to have 8 hours of special tactical training per year. It also requires them to get the okay of the minister, priest, et cetera, et cetera. So that's been changed a little bit. It's not a complete removal of the restriction, but it's a little bit better. I also particularly like this particular story. This is very cool. Under the heading of Knowing What to Ban Has Never Been a Requirement for Gun Grabbers, Illinois State Representative Fred Crespo said, I also support House Bill 1469, which would prohibit the sale and possession of high-capacity magazines, which turn regular firearms into fully automatic weapons. Talking with Alan Gottlieb from Second Amendment Foundation. Alan, one of the things that's frustrating to us many times is that they literally do not know what they're talking about, but even worse, they don't seem to care.
Yeah, and then add on top of that the media takes that wrong message, the false, fake news,
right? And they run with it,
and they run with it all over the place. And then the average person hears it, sees it, reads it, and the average person who doesn't own a gun, oh my God, look at that,
yeah,
and believes
magazines turn guns into full automatics.
Yeah,
you're going, it's like some legislator said, well, here's the deal: if we can just ban the sale of high-capacity magazines once they're used up, and they've shot all the ammunition out of them, they won't be any good anymore.
I think that was the California legislator that said that.
Yeah.
I mean, we ban them, they'll get used up, they won't be able to be. It just absolutely amazes me what we hear.
It's pretty crazy. It's Looney Tunes sometimes.
They obviously don't listen to Gun Talk to learn about guns.
All right, let's go to get some calls in here. We got, let's see, line one, Kendall's with us out of Wyoming. Hey, Kendall, you're on Gun Talk.
Yeah, I'm an over-the-road truck driver, so I have Sirius XM. Last week, Sirius XM took Gambit Company NRA News off of Sirius XM channel, 125 Patriot channel.
Yeah.
I called to complain. Actually, I called twice. The first time I just called and I got some woman and she had no idea there was a Patriot channel or Gambit Company or anything else.
Yeah, there's salespeople.
The second time I asked for a supervisor and I got told, well, it's the NRA, it's guns. Yeah, of course we took it off.
Really? Just simple as that. And that's look, I appreciate the call. Alan, that's an interesting point. To some of them, it's like, well, of course you would eliminate anything that has to do with guns. I mean, we are rational, caring people. We're not going to have anything about guns on here. It's kind of a mindset thing that gives them license to do anything they want to.
Yeah, but again, this is an organized effort to make all this happen.
That's the thing.
And it's not, there's another, XM Sirius taking off anything to do with guns, so to speak, off the air. Mm-hmm. Again, supermarket chains taking gun magazines off the shelves. Insurance companies, not writing insurance.
So this is not all just happening. It's not just popping up on its own. There's somebody behind this.
This is not happening organically. This is being orchestrated by our opponents who can't pass laws on a national level. So this is a way of backdoor getting rid of guns by making sure that gun ownership doesn't exist.
And here's how it happens. A call is made to a CEO from a CEO or from a Paul Allen or from somebody who you're going to take the call. Right?
Right.
And just, hey, I was wondering if you could have lunch. Could we just come over and talk with you about something? And a conversation happens and a policy gets changed. And it is as under the radar as that. Is that a fair approximation?
Yeah, sometimes it happens at a cocktail party where these people are doing. Sometimes it happens where they're having investment meetings where they're all deciding, what companies to invest in, and you have these CEOs, they're with a lot of rich investors. But the problem is this is very, very dangerous for our rights.
It's insidious. It is very dangerous to our rights. If we have no voice, it is literally impossible to win. You cannot protect your rights if you cannot speak up to protect your rights.
And the other side knows that, and that's why they're doing it.
That's really what it's about. Somebody, somewhere along the line, made the decision that this is a tactic, and this has been put into action. This is not something that, 100 people came up with on their own. This came from somewhere, some gun control think tank person.
It's the gun prohibition lobby's nuclear option.
Yeah, it is. If we can't win in a fair fight, we'll just simply reduce them to the point where no one can even hear them.
Yeah, or you get demonized so much that you're not welcome in the community anymore. I mean, don't show up at your PTA meeting for your kids.
Well, that's already happening.
I know. Well,
that's happening right now.
Right, but all this is going on to this extreme level in all quadrants, in all areas of society. I mean, the culture war has exploded against gun ownership right now, and we have to know that and fight back.
It occurs to me when you say that. When we talked about this week when you were here, in many cases, people don't know that their neighbor, their teacher, their doctor are gun owners. I think it's time for all of us to quit saying, well, I don't really want to put a sticker on my car. I don't really want to speak up. I think every one of us has to, so that our neighbors will go, oh, wow, well, I like those people. I didn't realize that you were one of thus people, and then thusly changing their opinion.
We have to do it. We have to show up.
We have to show up. We have to stand up. We have to speak up. We have to show up. And we have to do it in every single way, whether it's a bumper sticker, whether it's wearing a pro-gun, pro-rights hat or a shirt or something, becoming a member of the Second Amendment Foundation and the Citizens Committee and NRA and your state groups and getting involved and spending money and standing up, speaking up, and being there and showing up.
If you want to have your gun tomorrow, you better do this today.
There it is from Alan Gottlieb. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a second. I'm Tom Gresham, 866-TALK-GUN. We still have time to get you in if you'd like to give us a holler. Just call me at Tom Talk Gun. It's easier. All right, back with you, 866-TALK-GUN. Larry's with us out of Salina, Kansas. Hey, Larry, you're on Gun Talk. What you looking for?
Yeah, I was curious about Remington. They've been advertising some rifles, especially the 700 precision chassis rifle. Mm-hmm. But you try to get a hold of them, and you can't. They're unavailable. And I just wonder if you've heard anything about Remington, what they're doing, or how they're operating.
Obviously, Remington's been in financial problems, so bankruptcy in and out, and overextended. But in this case, it could be a couple of things. One is they could be selling more than they anticipated, and that happens a lot when they bring something out and go, wow, we never imagined, we didn't gear up, and so we're way behind. The other thing that happens, and it's the one that drives me crazy, is gun companies will occasionally, too often, drop a product from the line, but you never know it. And I always tell them, look, let me know when you have dropped it, whatever you've discontinued. I would like to know about it. At least I can quit talking about it and telling people they ought to get it. But in this case, you're thinking, well, I see it there, I see it in the catalog, and then they just simply stop making it, and the dealers can't get it, and the distributors can't get it. So I don't know which of all that it is. I take it you checked. Now, have you had your store check with its distributor?
Yes. I just had unavailable. This is a relatively new gun. They just come out with it recently.
Then probably what's going on, it's just they're overextended. They're selling more than they can make. They never anticipated, would be my guess. Why do you want that particular rifle in that caliber? What's going on? What are you going to be doing with that?
Well, I was just thinking just for accuracy, some long-range accuracy.
Sure. Nothing wrong with that. Well, here's the thing. 30 years ago, if you wanted accuracy in an affordable gun, you pretty much had to get a Remington 700. I have a bunch of them. That's simply not the case anymore. And there are a lot of really accurate rifles now. Savage kind of kicked it all off with their line. But you look at the Ruger Precision, it is stunning. For $400, you can get this crazy accurate rifle. You go on and on. So if you can't find the Remington, then I would say just keep looking around at other brands. Don't get hung up on one particular one because they all shoot better than we do.
Well, I've got several other Remingtons, and I've always had good luck with them.
Me too. I love them, but, if you can't, you can't. I will tell you, though, I've been shooting the Ruger Americans, and my buddy, who's a Camp Perry distinguished shooter, went out with us. We were shooting one of those. He just kept thinking, he was saying, I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. It's a $400 rifle. He said, this is insane. He said, I got to buy one of these. And this is a guy who shoots, 600 yards all the time at Camp Perry and really knows what he's doing. So anyway, I would just offer that if you can't find the one you want, or if you can't, if you can't be with the one you love, you want, love the one you're with, something like that. In this case, shop around a little bit. There you go. That's another song. You better shop around. Alan Gottlieb, I want to thank you again for being here. The takeaways are, for our troops, we got to get involved. We got to be there. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Let me get your mic back up. That's me. Go ahead.
Yeah, Tom, that's right. And I want to thank you because not just do your show, but getting involved. You don't just walk the walk or talk the talk. I mean, what you've done in Louisiana to protect gun rights, showing up, has been amazing. Thank you.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we got to do it. Unfortunately, we have a good state group, and I got involved, and they told me where to go and what to do because that's what you do. That's what your state group can help you do. And, of course, your work on the litigation side is, I think Second Amendment Foundation is very much in the lead in courts. And thank you again. Hey, 10 years for Heller. If we just get one more justice on the Supreme Court.
We need one more good justice.
Yeah.
Replace a Sotomayor or a Ginsburg, and we're home free.
We're home free. And then we can really get these. First of all, we'll get them to take the cases, and then we'll get the decisions we're looking for.
Correct.
All right. Thank you. And I want to tell people, if you're not already, go ahead and join the Second Amendment Foundation. It's a great group, saf.org. If you'd like to be a part of the after show, give me a call right now, 866-TALK-GUN. We will get you in there. In the meantime, go out and do some shooting this week. Take somebody with you. Enjoy the shooting sports.